Michael here from W Souls, and today we'll be talking about the exploration of Venus risk safe. So, but before we start, a quick shout out to our sponsor, NordVPN. Use this code to get a 50% discount for 6 months to get incredible services and do whatever the hell you want in the internet. Also, another quick shout out to GUV for allowing us to film this incredible video. Did you know Venus spins opposites? Neither did I. But if you also dreamed of one day exploring Venus, risk safe without actually dying? Yeah, neither have I. But you can do that. Thanks to our robots, Wally 2.0. And now I'll give the words to my incredible teammates.
First we're going to start off with the servo wheel, just how it contributes to movement. Then we're going to explain how the infrared sensors work. We have a forward facing one and a ground facing one. We'll explain later on how that matters for the robot algorithm. Then we're going to explain a bit of the ultrasound distance sensor, a bit of the gripper, and finish off with the algorithm and the whole robot demonstration and a whole. Okay, so for the movement part of the robot, I'll just quickly demonstrate how we implement it to just do basic simple movements like going forward, backwards, and making a turn. So for moving forwards, you do have to pay attention for the code to have the motors turn on opposite directions. So you have counterclockwise this way, and then the other side should be on the clockwise direction for it to move forwards. And then we have just backwards, it's just the other way around. For turning, you would want to have the same, like both go counterclockwise, so then you can have simple movements like turning right, and that's about it.
Yeah, wow, really seems like he knows what he's talking about. Okay, well anyway, here's the demonstration of the robot moving forwards, backwards and turning, while I'm narrating over it in the meantime. Oh, and while we're at it, as for the motivation behind our design, the reason why we chose to okay, ignore that, that's not, okay, it turned at least, well, okay, anyway, so for our motivation, we
Man, what a perfect Wednesday weekend. I sure do hope nothing bumpy and ruins this perfect day.
Now just a fast explanation on how the infrared LED is going to work and how it impacts the robot. So we have an infrared LED here. It just emits infrared light just like this, but if it's not like facing an object or anything, nothing's going to happen. The infrared phototransistor, which should receive the light, doesn't sense any light. We'll explain later how that impacts the circuit. If there's an actual object here, and specifically white color, not black color, which is actually just the same as no object being there because black absorbs all the light, right? So after it sees a white surface, it travels back and the phototransistor will measure more infrared light. This is the circuit we use. On the left you have the infrared LED, which is the emitter basically, and we have the phototransistor, which is the receiver. This one just constantly emits infrared light, and this one, depending on how much infrared it is receiving, will adjust its resistance. It has an internal resistance. If it receives more infrared light, the resistance will go down, which means that the voltage which gets contributed to the phototransistor part will lower, and we'll have like 2 pins going to the Arduino, and it reads the voltage which is in between those two, which then the algorithm can read and act accordingly based off those values.
A quick thing to add, which I forgot to mention, is that one robot consists of 2 infrared sensors. One is at the bottom facing downwards, which lets the robot algorithm easily detect and avoid black tape, because black is bad. And the other is at the grippers in front, facing forwards, used to pick up the samples, which we'll get back to later.
Okay, so now we talk about the distance sensor. This part, it uses the principle of wave refraction by sending out a sound wave, And if there's an object here that is not very soft, that's like an issue, soft and rough textures, but if it's just like a normal brick wall, this sound will bounce back. And then you have your sensor, and this sound wave refraction will be detected by the sensor. It will count the time between these two send-offs and receives, and then you can calculate the distance that this wave has traveled. And now you know how far an object is away from you. And now using the servo that's on top, you can turn left and right. And this allows us to detect anything, all sides and any type of object. But we can't really distinguish what that object is. We just know, hey, it's 20 centimeters away.
Okay, so here we have the demonstration of the ultrasound distance sensor, where the robot tries to detect and avoid a wall. Here you see it scanning around a bit, get a clear view of its surroundings, and when it sees the wall, it turns to the right to avoid the obstacle. You see it scanning around again, turning a bit, and now it's acting up a bit. What the?
I'll talk about the gripper kit. As you can see, opens and closes, and this is what picks up the blocks. And it just uses a simple servo mechanism and the wires here, and then it will open and close. And using this IR circuit, it will detect if there is a block. If there is, it will open, pick up the block, and then drive home. This is super secure, super effective, really good. I'll explain how the algorithm works, which is pretty much the brain of our robot. So we have a loop, you could say, and every time this place, it will look around itself, right? It will scan for distance, it will look if color changes are there, anything, and then it will act accordingly. And then, of course, we also have a steady state machine, which consists out of several states, such as, let's say, rock picked up or returning to lab. And if either one state activates by our code, this will change fundamentally how the robot works. For example, if it picks up a rock, it will naturally try to look for the lab and not for anything else. And if we have it return from the lab or go to the lab, this will of course prioritize a certain code to identify the lab instead of interpreting it in a different way. This allows it, of course, to complete its job. And now we'll have a small demonstration of everything, of it finding the rock, getting to the lab, or trying to do so, and the entire robot.